the last video, we finally got the ignition system to fire successfully. So the next test should be fuel delivery. I've installed a brand new carburetor, so that shouldn't require any troubleshooting. Just like working with my brand new ignition system, right? Rather than do things right and make a test rig to gravity feed the carburetor to find any issues before reassembling the whole front end, I'm charging ahead. I'm reassembling the front cowl and putting the stock cooling and fuel system back together because, well, just because. This tractor has been farm maintained for a long time. This means that field expedient fixes have been repeatedly done, and as long as they didn't fail, that's how they remained. I'm not criticizing it. That's just how things were done on a farm. Whatever it takes to get a job done, and don't waste effort making it pretty. You can reference my slap it together and see what fails method of getting things working. I admire the ingenuity and out-of-the-box thinking of farmers and how they get more use out of worn-out equipment. This generally translates to lots of broken, stripped, and just plain rusted fasteners. And if there were two bolts holding something together, well, you really only needed one, right? The radiator was no exception, held in place by two bolts on the bottom and the cowl on the top. Both bottom bolts were replacements. One was too short and one was too long, and had been installed with a half dozen washers. The threads for both bolt holes would only accept about a ½ inch of penetration, while they were over an inch deep. So, of course, I opted to chase the threads with a cutting tap, because that's all I have. And they're blind holes, but I don't have a bottoming tap. So, staying on brand, I am fixing the issue with the wrong tools.
Right. I don't know when you guys backed out, but I mounted the radiator. Talked some shit about my tripod. Now I'm going to get hoses and clamps. I haven't finished the wiring either. Especially working with old stuff, I can't ever seem to throw anything away, because I can't tell you the number of times it saved my hide at 12 o'clock at night, pulling out a worn out part, rebuilding it, or tinkering with it to make it work, and fixing it regardless of not having the right equipment. Too often. Way too often. They laughed at me. Oh, I hate those damn things. Stockpiling stuff. Why are these all together? So that goes on there. This looks like it'll go there too. That's 2. That's 3, but that's a little bit big. That's good. And that's good. I really need to rethink this shop. But as usual, I'm too busy doing stuff to get stuff done. Always been my issue. Take a moment. These replace those. Yeah, that looks legit. I find that one of the most critical things about installing the hoses is the placement of the hose clamp screws, so you don't end up fighting something. Oof, look how close that goes. Why do you do that? Oh, that's going to be tough no matter what. Okay, another trick is, instead of putting them up where they're easy to get to, you rotate them to the bottom, and the point to that is they get less wear and tear on the bottom. They don't pack full of crap as easily. So when it comes time to do it next time, come off like a dream. Like a dream, I tell you. Alright. So that's a little too small. Thought that when I was grabbing them. Ansel Adams has no concerns from me. That should be good. Should be. This is an original one. Well, original from someone else. It's either easier to take the hose off or easier to unscrew the thing all the way. I think it's easier to take the hose off. So, there it is. So where do we put this one to pull the trick that like I was talking about before? Can't put it underneath because you can't get to it. I'd be either filling it from here or from inside the fan. So we're just going to put it facing up here. This is not the style with a cup around the screw, so the screw will tend to shed stuff. I'm saying this like I planned it all out. This just happens to be the one that I grabbed. That's all. Guinea fowl are kind of bent out of shape because we put them in early because our family's going somewhere tonight and we didn't want them to repeat their little escapade from yesterday or from a couple of days ago, which is, I doubt they would have. Oh man, what? I can pull it back a bit. At some point, the fan's going to start hitting. So I'm going to put this way out here at the end. Let's see. That's about where the metal ends. So that's where I'm going to put this. So I've got as much as possible. I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure it's going to end up that this is now too far out when I try to put it together. And I'm going to have to pull that whole cowl off again and redo this and yada 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 yada. Oh, yep, I screwed up. I put that in the wrong place. So I'm going to pop this off. Well, it's already off. Pop this off, turn it around. Now, if you were right-handed, this would all be backwards. But since I'm not right-handed, I'm going to do it any damn way I please. Yeah? Yeah. I haven't done any filter changes. I haven't done any oil changes, nothing. I just checked that the oil didn't have gas in it, because that's a death sentence. And then I'm going to run 2-cycle, old 2-cycle, but it was ethanol free. So it should still be good. All right. What could go wrong? Anyway, so that's going to be start up. Give it a little bit of extra lubrication. It would be better to change the oil, absolutely. But I wanted to prove this all worked before I did that. The oil is still thick enough. Smells like oil, not like gas. I'm not going to taste it because I think that's kind of silly. Wiring all needs to be straightened out. New plug wires, I think I need to make 3 and 4 again, or 2 and 3. They both feel kind of tight, but I want to get this started first. Then I can make the plug wires, hook up the ammeter, hook up the alternator. I can do all that stuff later. So now I'm going to put the hood cowl on, which weighs a surprising amount. The only reason I can't run it like this is no gas. Yeah. If a gas tank. So if I rigged up a fake gas tank, I could put water in this and run around as this, but why would I want to? You know something else I need to do? Since I've got the wrong tape. I've got old tape here. But then I don't have the large size heat shrink that I thought I had. This tape is stickier on the outside than it is on the inside. It's like all the glue came off and stuck to the other side of the tape. Ew. Now my fingers are all sticky. Okay, drop the cowl on it. I don't think it's going to short anything out. I don't think that I have. See, these took square nuts. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I could probably go back a little bit more. So let's see. There were no bolts in this when I got it. It looks like it takes carriage bolts and a nut on the back side. And then this is access to fuel and battery, well, half the battery anyways. So that's the right distance back. The radiator looks like it could have slid back a little bit. These grills are kind of big money, but I don't have a bumper, which will be the next thing I need. So that goes to the carburetor linkage. This is supposed to go up to the, oh, you guys were staring at the side of the, all right, next puzzle. So this is the linkages. This goes to the back side of the carburetor. I can see where it goes right there. This goes up to the throttle here. Although that looks like it goes to the governor. You know, this is like a 5-minute Google search, but damn it, I don't want to do that. I also have about a dozen of these adjustable linkage poles in the garage that Ed left me. You guys seeing this or not? I'm trying. So I sound frustrated. I know I sounded frustrated over the electronics issue, but this is actually my glory. This is what I like to do. I like to take on issues that other people failed at and try to fix them. I find that if you persevere, quite often you're successful. As tempting as it could be to give up, you just have to keep going. Yeah, there's an empty linkage up there that I'm suspicious of. Up here at the top. Back here, there's an empty hole. Yeah. I have to research what that goes to. This, see, that's choke. So where's my choke line? Guess that's my choke line. This is hammered. I've lost like an inch of travel because it's all so bent up. Right. The right thing to do would be to get a tool to do this. We don't do right things. So if I hook this up this way, it's always going to run a partial choke. I think. Or maybe there's so much room in the choke that it's not going to run partial choke. There. Alright. Back. Yeah, see, it sets back by itself. I can gain it another 1/4 inch if I fool around with that a little bit. So I guess I need a short piece to feed it through the oil bath filter. We're not there yet. So now here's this doohickey. There's another. I hope that was. I think that's. Yeah, that goes off the governor. Oh, I can fly. Whoa. All right. So back here, this is from the governor, and then there's this other linkage head there. I believe these go together. Worst case scenario, my $500 tractor burns to the ground. Oh well. You know what? I think this is probably going to be easier to do. Undo it this way. What the hell that would be? There. See? That was a lot easier. Okay, so now I need the fuel line. Found something that might or might not be the fuel line. It's made out of copper though. I don't know the verboten of using a copper line. I'm betting something's going to be wrong. 7/16 by the way, not 3/8. But at the same time, I don't really care. I just want to get this done. Except, if I charge ahead, even though it's soft copper, when it's bent, I can tell you that already, it's going to kink. Why? Because it's me. Oh, there we go. That's actually a nice bender. I like that. This one's nice for hand bending when you don't have an end on there, but I got ends on both sides, so I can't really use that. I would have preferred to do that because that's like cake. This works for really tight bends, but I don't need to make a really tight bend. These are brake tools. I don't know why they're in there. I can live with these things and my super complicated bender. A piece of wire. I don't know what that was. I have no idea. But I can bend it into the shape I need and then replicate that with this thing. And out of there. It's simple. Super simple. I really have overthought this. Yeah, I've really overthought this. So this comes from that direction, goes there. See, the fuel's been on the whole time. Because I'm a doofus. I think it's leaked it all out. Because I'd smell it if it did. And I generally don't smell anything. This is what I'm doing. Not just staring at the engine lovingly. That's the reason fuel's green, is it's 2-cycle. Which may or may not totally have something up. We'll have to see. This is going to be super arc wood. I'm not going to be able to get the bend in the right place, which is why I needed to do this before I put this on. I don't know whether that's going to be the right distance or not, but I leave it high so that I can bend it down. Oh yeah, it's going to have to bend down. It didn't kink. Alright, and I can force it the rest of the way. Alright. See? At the top, I got a nice spacing there because I left it proud doing this. Now, if only it doesn't try to screw up the threads on the fitting. that goes in. I pulled this apart. I pulled a bunch of the tape out of it. So whoever built this before is probably the reason the carburetor failed, because he'd used it's called white tape on it. Always my test. I think everybody's test. It's got to be able to go in finger tight. If it doesn't go in finger tight, it's cross threading. Well, normally I would care, but right now I'm just going to turn the fuel on and see if it leaks. Because if I can get this idling, I'd be pleased as punch before I have to leave. One disaster at a time, please. Yeah, it's all the way on. It's not filling with fuel. It is possible that fuel has dropped out of it. I don't really have any more fuel. Let's see if there's some in the tank. No, there's fuel in the tank. Not very much, but that's kind of by design. So in order for this to work, it needs to drop down into the bowl, fill the bowl up, and then gravity feeds it out here. So I turned it all the way that way and nothing happened. And it says 2 turns. So let's close it. I thought I had closed it, but maybe I'd opened it. So that's all the way in. So then we turn half, 1 half, 2. 2 full turns out. And it's not dropping any more fuel. So either the screen in there is effed up again, because it was before. Let's try it. Let's turn this off. What I think is off anyways. And then we'll drop the bowl. Okay. No, there's nothing in it because I've already cleaned it out. Yes, I mean, when I got the whole thing, it was dry. It had some sediment in it. There's a screen. Been there? There. See? That's not messed up. So what happens if I turn the fuel on now? Nothing. So the easy answer is, at half an hour I can go grab a gallon of fuel and add it and see what happens. Next problem that I don't have time to deal with right now. So I put 2 gallons of gas in it. The bowl filled as designed perfectly. So it was actually out of gas, but if you leave it on, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. See, that went tighter than last time. So let's see. Still leaking? Yep. Alright, so that gasket's shot, but I don't have time tonight. Unsatisfying end. So I'm looking to replace the fuel sediment bowl gasket and screen on the 9N so that I can get it started. If I can get it started, then I'll finish wiring up the alternator and change the oil, and then it should be good. Alright, fuel bowl. So this is a new one. It has the screen and the gasket in it. I don't want to change the whole thing because I just put 3 gallons of gas in it. And if you pull the sediment bowl out, nothing stops it from draining out. You've got to plug it with your finger, and then do a quick change. I don't want to do that. It comes with extra screens, but not extra gaskets. Well, I hope that's going to be the same gasket. Right direction. See? All the gunk caught by the screen, but the screen doesn't really need to be changed. That's the gasket that came out. Doesn't look that bad, but it's bad enough to fail, I guess. Yeah. Maybe it's just got some crap. I mean, it feels pliable. I didn't grab my cheaters, but it doesn't look like anything should be wrong with it. Maybe. I don't feel any cracks, any breaks, but it was definitely leaking. There's a gasket. Let's see. Any bets? I don't think it's going to hold. Looks like I was wrong. There are drips. Yep. It's not holding. So a half turn tighter. Nope, there it goes. Half turn again. Not even. Maybe 20 degrees of turn. I didn't expect this to be that touchy. But it is. Yeah. I don't like pulling wet fuel off the backside. Makes me nervous. That. So, super simple test. I touched the backside of it. Dry my hand off. Touch it again on the bottom, which is the lowest point. Yeah, now it's dry. But it doesn't make me feel confident. See, that got a little wetness. But it was up here, not at the bottom. Now, I think it's still weeping a little bit. I'm not ready to rule this out yet. It does seem to, I don't know, it seems like it's stopped. So in military nomenclature, that's a class 2 leak. Or, no, class 1, wet on the surface but no drips forming. Class 2 would be a drip forming but not dropping. Class 3 is it's dropping on the floor. A little bit of useless information there. So it's got no coolant in it, and the radiator needs to be adjusted back to seat properly. I have a storage unit in town where I'm storing my father's car before I can take it here. I'm also using it to hold a bunch of stuff that I need to get out of their house. I had a point there and I forgot what it was. It'll occur to me in a minute. Oh. So I got 2 toolboxes sitting down there, which I want to bring back here, but I can't bring them in the door. 2 cycles still. I just went and bought 5 gallons of $4 gas. I clean this place up, and then I need to move more stuff into it, and it just turns into a disaster. Alright, there you go, that's 50/50. It's an empty thing for mixing, pre-diluted. Alright, this is Dexcool, which we don't care about. This says all makes, all models. I think it's just standard coolant, green coolant. And then the Xerox Asian formula. Maybe that only works in Asian cars. How does it know? So that should be the orange Dextron, Dexcool. This should be regular yellow, and it is. So this is what goes in. So the screw I need to get to is the screw that's up top there. Could have brought a hand light too. It's up top, which lets that hose back off because I left it on the end of the upper, not on the end of this one, which is what I should have done, because that would have been easy to just undo that clamp. Sorry, I need both hands. So, that was that. Is it done? No idea. We will find out. Now is when I find out that there's a massive leak in the radiator. It was about a quarter full when I bought the. So that's a half gallon. Normally, I would fill it with water, run it to test, and then drain it on the ground if it passes, so that I can top it off with coolant. The 100% coolant, not the 50-50 stuff, but this is what I had in my closet. So now we're going to top that with water to see if it leaks. This is not vinegar, this is water. That's vinegar. That's my derusting tanks. Actually, let's make sure this isn't vinegar. No. Insipid YouTube content. Or maybe that's just my overflow, because I wasn't pouring it perfectly in there, so it's just dripping down, I think. Because it doesn't look like it's dripping from the bottom of the radiator. It looks like it's dripping from the cowling. All the more reason to try to be better at pouring. I'm going to call that good for now. Now, what do you think I put the radiator cap? Let's see what we get. Shook it a little bit. Look at that! Now I don't really have a temperature gauge, so I'm not too keen on running this thing, but that's the first first time it started for me. And it's purring like a kitten. Well, like a constipated kitten. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Oh, except for the fuel leak. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to turn off the fuel over here, and we're going to come back and try to address that. So there's fuel on top of this nut, so I think it's leaking from this fitting right there. I was suspecting it was going to be leaking from these threads because the fitting kind of moves generally, but I'm pretty sure it's leaking from there. So that was a 7/16. And what the hell did I do with the radiator cap? Disappear in there. Oh, almost though. Look at that. Because, you know, here is where, that's the logical place to put it. Boom. It's a go fast thing. No, I saw it swell up from right here. So that's where the leak's coming from. So we dry that off. And is fuel coming back on it? Not leaking. Not leaking is not equivalent to being fixed. Why does it something keeps dripping back here? Where's that coming from? Yep, there is fuel coming from there. Okay. So now the fuel is coming from these threads like I suspected before. The only answer to that is to undo this fitting so I can hopefully spin this 365 degrees. It's not going to turn 360, I can already tell. So what the hell am I going to do with that? Which means I'm going to have to angle this thing into it. Which, yeah. 1940s tractor hackery. You done? What, you waiting for the shake? That is a 7/16. That is 9/16. Let's see if I was wrong though. I wasn't. Dink. Yep, see? It's going to turn to there. Click. Oh. Do I need the bender to do that? It's copper line. The right thing would be to get the bender. I never really messed with that. I'm going to mess this up if I do it this way. I'm going to kink the line. I'm not going to have more line. And it's going to stop the project again. So let's go get the right thing. Except this angle sucks. And if the angle sucks, then it's not going to come in properly. Keeping it real. Alright. Yeah, it's got to be able to go in finger tight, otherwise it's cross-threaded. And this stuff is notoriously easy to cross-thread. There, see, shake it around and still turn it a little bit. What do I call it? 2 clicks. Let's turn the gas to it and see what happens. Spark plug wires. Alright. Just cracked it open. There's half a turn. Not leaking yet. Another turn. Doesn't look like it's leaking, but I'm not wearing my cheaters, so I can't really see very much. I think I see dampness there, but I'm not sure. That kind of looks damp. Would mean that this is not tight enough. Drying it off really good. I mean, gas usually evaporates, but sometimes it gets up in the threads and won't dissipate. Yeah, they already smell like gas, so that's not going to help. Let's see. On and on and on. That's no worse than the class 1 leak on the sediment bowl. So let's see where we are. What am I going to break if I make this tractor move? Anyway, here we go. Oh. Yeah, there's lots more to do. Come along with me on a wonderful tractor ride. With no battery, by the way. Woohoo! Seat bounces and everything. Here we go. That's the clutch. The tractor moved under its own power.